Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me. Welcome to episode 9 of this year's Fantasy Baseball Recap Show. We are going to be talking about some ups, some downs, some positives, some negatives, some heartbreak, and some breakthroughs. Some magical Sunday showdowns that really just propelled us, hopefully, into the rest of the season to only be better. We're going to learn a lot from this week because this is entering the second third of the year. We definitely have to make some moves, whether it be roster moves, moves in the standings, or, just trying to figure out who the best people to start are and the best people to sit. We might need to take a break from some. But before I have to say it over and over in this show, my pitching let me down. Surprise, surprise, right? But we're going to go ahead and get into it. The Cheese Weasels are the first team we're going to talk about. This week, I'm in 4th place with 110.5 points. Some of my top performers this past week included Maikel Garcia, who had 11 hits, 6 runs, and 2 stolen bases. Yordan Alvarez with 9 hits, only 1 home run, but he did have 4 walks. And finally, Ryan McMahon and Marcell Ozuna each had 3 home runs and at least 6 RBIs. Phenomenal work for me and my guys. I'm so glad I was able to pick Ryan McMahon off the waivers just a few weeks ago. Now, some of the guys that didn't perform as well for me, Tyler O'Neill. Old boy went 0 for 15. He didn't even have a walk this week. That's heartbreaking. And between Jonah Heim, Bryson Stott, and Bryce Turang, they had 2 hits each. So those 3 got me 6 hits over the course of the week. Now, they did contribute with a few runs, a few walks, and some stolen bases, but hitting-wise, they were not doing it for me. I do also want to go over the adds and drops, but we will also go over my standings. Now, this is coming out Wednesday, so they've changed in the last 3 days, but you'll get an idea for where I am. The adds did include Robert Gasser, who had 0 strikeouts in his outing. Ha-Seong Kim, who is a walking machine, also steals some bases, but can't hit the broadside of a barn. And Adam Gomber, who came out of nowhere as a Rockies pitcher. The last good Rockies pitcher, even just for a short period of time, John Gray. You had Jermaine Marquez, but Ubaldo Jimenez was the last good one over a longer period of time. We also picked up Jake Cronenworth, Pablo Lopez, Andrew Kittredge, and Griffin Jax. Yes, I know I can't stand Griffin Jax because he just failed to take over and embrace the closer role, but here he is back on our team. And the drops included Gomber, who we had picked up and then released because now his start is against the Dodgers. That's no good. Robert Gasser, because he doesn't strike anyone out when I start him, but when I don't start him, he strikes people out. Jose Caballero, who doesn't get any stolen bases when I start him. Brandon Nimmo, who doesn't get any walks when I start him. And we have a trio of bullpen guys who either got hurt or blew saves for me. Luke Weaver, Austin Adams, and Yanier Cano. And now I'm going to read the list of categories, our current position, and how many until we reach the next spot. So for example, we are 6th in runs, and the next closest for 5th is 3 away. So that's how this format will be. In hits, we're 8th, and we're 10 behind. In home runs, we're 5th, and we're 5 behind. In RBIs, we're 7th, and we're 8 behind. In stolen bases, we're 2nd, but we are 18 behind. For walks, we're 5th, and we're 8 behind. For average, we're in 7th, and we're hitting at 248. For OPS, we're in 5th, and we're hitting at 736. Now, the pitching categories, we're doing far better. In wins, we are 1st, and we're ahead by 10. In losses, we do have 22 on the year, and that puts us in 6th spot. For complete games, we have 2, and that puts us in 2nd. For shutouts, we have 1, and that puts us in 1st. We also are 1st in saves, but we're tied with 3 other people. With holds, we're 4th, and we're 3 behind. For strikeouts, we're 1st, and we're like 80 in front of the next person. For ERA, we're 7th. For whip, we are 9th, which is not great. And for blown saves, we are 4th. We have blown 7 saves this year. So hopefully this gives you an idea of where I am. Obviously, our pitching is better than our hitting, so we definitely need to make some moves. We do have a few guys who are either coming off the IL this week or potentially could be in the next few weeks. Unfortunately, we have had to put a few people on the IL, but in any case, we definitely need to make some moves. Our home runs are pretty close. I feel good about stolen bases. We are definitely doing good in the pitching, so definitely looking to improve the saves to make sure we're out of the tie. Definitely need to work on holds. I think if we get to second in the holds and have that gap, like the first guy has like 3 times as many as us. I don't know how, but in any case, if I can get to second, I feel good about that. For some of the other categories, I'm not going to say punt, but I'm also going to say that I'm not necessarily going to be looking to make sure I have the lowest ERA or the whip. I know that's not going to happen. I have the most wins, and I have the most strikeouts. That means I have the most innings pitched. That's just how it is. I'm not always going to have perfect games. I'm not always going to have those guys who pitch 6, 7, 8 innings and give up no hits, no runs. That would be amazing, but let's be real here. So I'm very content with where I am. I mean, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we were talking about 8th spot, 9th spot, just like we talked about, last week, how we jumped. So we're definitely doing good. We're definitely making some progress, and I'm happy with where we are. Definitely a lot of season left to make whatever moves we need to make. And now we're going to move to the Funky Junky Joker Monkeys. I'm excited about this league. Like we talked about before, I feel good about the pitching. I feel pretty decent about the hitting. However, this week, my pitching let me down again. I did lose 433 to 390, and you might think, that sounds like a decent loss. Well, I'm going to read you my pitching stats. I'm going to read you the opponent, and I'm going to tell you the score they had. And then, hopefully, you will think, holy cow, J-Cake, your pitching did let you down. Let's refer to the paper. Joe Musgrove against Cincinnati got me 4 points. Cutter Crawford against Milwaukee got me 5 points. Robert Gasser against Miami with 0 strikeouts got me 4 points. Nick Pivetta against Milwaukee, 1 point. Brian Wu against Washington, 9 points. Tyler Anderson against Kansas City. Dude, I picked you up thinking you were going to get, I don't want to say an easy win, but a win and be able to pick up some cheeky points without me having to waste a starter. You got me 6 points. Let's do the math. 4 plus 5, 9. 9 plus 1, 10. 10 plus 4, 14. 14 plus 6, 20. 20 plus 9, 29. Between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starters and a relief guy who was a bulk starter, you got me 29 points. And now we're going to move to the ads and drops. The ads actually did their job. They did well for me. They put up numbers, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep most of them going forward. Dylan Moore, maybe not, unless he picks it up. Lane Thomas, who I'm probably going to keep because he gets some stolen bases and is hitting atop a decent Nationals lineup now. I also picked up Tyler Alexander, who's a bulk reliever, so did not burn a start. Trevor Meagle, who is the saves guy for the Brewers now, but now maybe not because he got hurt as of recently. Speaking of the Brewers, Brian Hudson, he is doing great. He is a long relief guy, so he can go 2 or 3 innings, pick up the save if he needs to, pick up holds, or pick up wins, so that's pretty good. Finally, we picked up Austin Gombert, who has been great out of this Rockies rotation, but his start was pushed back because of arm fatigue to start against the Dodgers. Therefore, that is why he heads my drops list, along with Robert Gasser, who doesn't know how to throw strikes, Ryan Yarbrough, who I have no idea when he's going to start anymore. Luke Weaver, who, I mean, you did good, and then all of a sudden you forgot to pitch. And then Jason Foley, who imploded. Which is unfortunate, because now that Tigers bullpen is even more shambles. Between Holton, Chafin, Lang, Foley, of course, you don't know who's going to be coming out. I mean, you have a better idea. Jason Foley's probably the best. Lang might have the best stuff, but doesn't know where it's going. Holton has definitely done better. Faedo, not terrible, but not a guy who's going to be like, hey, I'm a lockdown closer. But in any case, Foley's not on my team anymore. But a team he is on is my Kent Murphy Dingers team. Now, this league has seen me on a skid. And that is so frustrating because it's not like, dude, you're losing like 1 category to 9. It's, hey, man, you missed on a run. You missed on a home run. You had 0.05 too high of a whip, so you lost. Yeah, it's been super close. And this week, honestly, it looked like the same thing. Going into Sunday, I was losing 1 category to 9. So I was like, dude, what can I even do? How can I salvage it? Because it's not like I picked up this many categories. It's a win or lose league, or tie. Foreshadowing. But throughout the whole week, I was losing. I think the closest I got was like 4-4. So I was just, again, trying to figure out, what can I do? Is there any way I can make up for this? Well, come Sunday, Kyle Bradish went off. He had 11 strikeouts. He's one of the top performers. 11 strikeouts for me. And lowered my ERA, lowered my whip. So I was like, holy cow. Gave me the lead in strikeouts. He also helped my ERA, helped my whip like we talked about before. So I'm winning that category. I'm obviously winning saves because I have a ton of saves. Not winning wins because Logan Webb pitched a gem and the bullpen screwed it up for him. I didn't start Jesus Luzardo because why would you start him against, I don't even remember who he was starting against, but it was a good team. But I didn't start him. I was mad. But in any case, so I should have had that win. So going into Sunday, it's 1-9. Halfway through Sunday, it's 4-6, 4-5, something like that. And I'm like, oh, I have a chance. So at the end of the day, he has one or two guys left for Sunday Night Baseball. He has Javier Assad and Hector Neris. So he could lower his ERA enough and lower his whip enough. He's not going to catch me in saves. That's not a problem. But didn't he have any batters? I don't think so. So as long as he didn't lower his ERA or whip too much, I was going to come out with a tie. That's right. I'm happy with a tie. It was 5-5. However, let me tell you what is now going through my mind. Looking back, obviously, you look back to see like what coulda, shoulda, woulda happened. I sat CJ Abrams. Now, this guy I was playing had sent me multiple trade offers trying to get CJ Abrams. And some of them were decent, but my thought is I want to keep Abrams. He's young, pretty good draft position if I get to keep him. He's going to steal some bases, so I want to keep him because Estrella Ruiz screwed me over. So I've declined him, and he's just been doing very poorly this past week, so I sat him on Sunday. Oh, are you a Nationals fan? Are you a CJ Abrams fan? You know what happened. He had a 3-run home run. So you're saying he won the runs category by 1. Had I started Mr. CJ Abrams, I would have tied that category and would have won 5 categories to 4. Now that also means I would have had to still start Rengifo and not start, I think it was Tommy Pham. So there would have been a few other things that need to happen, but that's what's going on in my mind. Also, I sat Brandon Nimmo 2 games because he was like 0 for 4, 0 for 5, whatever. Maybe he had 2 stolen bases. I lost by 2 stolen bases. So again, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Looking back on I probably should have started him. Why didn't I start him? Trust your gut. Start your studs. So now I'm 2-7-1. Woo! Still in 9th spot, so that sucks. So let's go ahead and get to the other top performers. Mr. Olsen had 3 home runs and 6 RBIs. Mr. Real Muto had 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Jose Altuve and Alec Bohm both had 5 RBIs. And between Trevor Meagle, Craig Kimbrell, and Johan Duran, each of them having 2 saves, along with 14 strikeouts by Logan Webb and 17 total for the week by Kyle Bradish, 11 of them coming on Sunday for me, so that was great. Now for the guys that did not do well for me, Brandon Nimmo was able to get me 1 run in the 5 games I started him. In the 2 games I didn't start him, I missed out on 2 stolen bases. Also, I started Riley Green every game, and he was able to get me 2 runs and a 100 batting average. And then I did have a few other relievers who gave up runs and hits and walks and also these save opportunities and our wins. Jordan Romano, Jason Foley, Mason Miller, and Johan Duran. Come on, guys. Let's lock it down. Now we're going to move to the ESPN platform, and we're going to talk about the Peach Creek Purgatory team. I tell you one thing, this team was so infuriating. Again, the starters that I had were letting me down for the last 4 weeks. This week, I prevailed. I did win 849 to 743. However, I messed up and had 13 starts instead of just the 12. I guess I forgot to take someone out. I don't know. In any case, that did hurt me a little bit because it made the score closer. However, now that I'm thinking about it, I think he originally only scored like 658. So now jumping almost 100 points, I think it was like 85 points. Good Lord. Had messed up again, that would have almost put him, beating me. But in any case, I prevailed. I was happy. My top scorer was Corey Seager with 66 points. Oh, this next one, Ronald Acuna, he had 63. That's sad. And Matt Olson, who had 61. The least top performers, or the worst performers, Tommy Pham, who got me 2 points, Tyler Alexander, who got me -3, Nick Pivetta got me -3 as well, and Framber Valdez got me -5. I was so happy about this guy when I got him in a trade early in the season, or in the offseason, but in any case, we're going to keep starting our studs. We're going to trust them, and we're going to make sure that we don't miss out like I have in so many other times. The ads for this league did include some relievers, but also, surprisingly, some hitters. Luke Raley and Tommy Pham. And then the relievers did include Mr. Joe Jimenez, who got me -14 points on that Monday doubleheader. Cool. Honestly, Monday, I had -34 points for my pitching. So I was like, I'm going to lose again. We're going to make it 5 in a row. But in any case, we did not. We prevailed, like we said twice before. We also picked up Mr. Tyler Alexander, who didn't pitch well for me in his game against the Royals. And then finally, Cole Irvin, who was phenomenal and has been phenomenal as long as he's not pitching in relief. Drops included Aaron Savali, Taijuan Walker, Tyler Alexander, and Frankie Montas, along with hitters Zach Geloff and Luke Raley. I really hated letting Zach Geloff go because I really liked him. I traded for him in the offseason. I thought he was going to do well, but he just wasn't doing enough for me. And I have some pretty decent guys. Marte, picked up Toro. Also have, who else do I have? Nolan Gorman. So it's like, I'm not going to start him. Well, now again, he's doing well, and it makes my heart hurt. Glad for him, but makes my heart hurt. In any case, 5-4 on the season now. Ended our 4-game skid, and now we're going to be talking about the Russell My Jim Jams team. Unfortunately, this week I lost 8 categories to 5 categories to 3 categories. I was also playing the #1 team in the league. At one point in time, I was up 2 or 3 categories. So that is when you head into the weekend and you're winning, and then you wind up losing. So I never get my hopes up too much, whether I'm up or down, unless, of course, it's Sunday Night Baseball and I have no one left, and I'm clearly going to lose. Some of my top performers this week did include Starling Marte and Real Muto with 2 home runs each. Also, Jose Altuve had 5 RBIs, and Brandon Nimmo did have me 2 stolen bases in this league because I did start him. Also, Rengifo had himself a freaking week, man. 5 runs, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 4 extra base hits, and 2 stolen bases, just for good measure. JJ Romero had 3 holds, Craig Kimbrell had 3 saves, and Mr. Kevin Gausman got himself a win and had 10 strikeouts. And now for the people that didn't do anything for me. Ahmed Rosario, 0 for 9 in your 3 games. Sal Frelick and Bryson Stott, you each had 2 hits for me. That was it. Come on, guys. Pitching-wise, between Tyler Alexander and Nick Pivetta, you gave up runs and you got me losses. And in relief, Jalen Beeks and Clay Holmes both gave up hits, walks, runs, and blown saves. So definitely need more from me. The ads for the Russell My Jim Jams team include Joe Ross, Alec Marsh, Jalen Beeks, Luke Raley, Dylan Moore, Tyler Alexander, and Jose Soriano, while the drops include Taijuan Walker, J.P. Sears, Joe Ross, Connor Wong, Xander Bogaerts, that's very unfortunate, Tyler Alexander, and Simeon Woods Richardson. Overall in this league, I am 58, 63, and 23. I'm in 7th out of 10. You only need to be in 6th to make the playoffs. So again, a third of the way through, not terrible, not great. Still have some room to improve. I'm looking forward to it, and we are on our way to improvement. And now the last team we're going to talk about, the South Harmon Institute of Technology. This week, at one point in time, I was leading 11 categories to 2 categories, and I was feeling good. I thought this was going to be a runaway. It was not. Come Sunday, we only won 8 categories to 7 categories to 3 categories. Too close for comfort, and definitely lost out on some key categories that could have propelled us into a higher spot. So we are currently sitting in 7th out of 12 with a record of 67, 62, and 28. Some of the guys that did well for us included Matt Olson with 19 total bases, 3 home runs, and 6 RBIs. Michael Garcia with 15 total bases and 3 stolen bases. And then Luis Rengifo, 18 total bases, 2 home runs, and 5 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases, just for good measure. Some of the guys that did not do well for us, Robert Gasser, no strikeouts, and I lost by 4 strikeouts. So I definitely could have added those, but it is what it is. Also had a few guys do nothing for me, including Tyler O'Neill, who went 0 for 15, not a walk, nothing. That stinks, really. And then pitching-wise, Ron Pepio and Nick Pivetta bad starts. And then between Trevor Meagle, Jose Alvarado, and Jordan Romano, blown saves and our hits, walks, and runs given up. So that's not going to help me at all. The adds and drops for this week were very short. I added Alec Marsh and Jeffrey Springs and dropped Gabriel Moreno and Robert Gasser. Overall, this week was better than some of my previous weeks. I'm looking forward to seeing again what some of this potential can be for me. Hopefully we'll carry some momentum on, ending losing streaks, even if it was a tie, getting guys going, and then seeing how they continue that momentum. And also, I cannot assume some of the teams are going to be easy wins. The White Sox, the Marlins, the Pirates, the Tigers. I can't just assume that they're going to be easy wins for my pitchers. But in any case, a few of the guys that you should definitely add include, if someone dropped him, Paul Goldschmidt. He's apparently back on track. Yeah, I dropped him, missed out on some stolen bases, some home runs. Definitely would have helped me. I'm going to add him on this list again, Junior Caminero. He did go on the 7-day IL today as of Wednesday because of a strained quad. So, flashback to Royce Lewis opening day, who should be coming back hopefully soon. Brendan Donovan picked up first base eligibility, has second base eligibility, can play outfield, can play all over, so he could be a guy for you. Let's see, pitching-wise, you need to look at the Brewers' bullpen. I don't know how long Meagle is going to be out. He did avoid a fracture in his arm, being hit in the elbow. But Joel Pyomps, even though he's very frustrating, Brian Hudson is the main guy that I like in that bullpen. May not be the closer, but he's going to pick up some long relief wins. Going to pick up some holds for you. Not going to raise your ERA, not going to raise your whip. He's going to give you some strikeouts, so that is my main guy. Maybe look at Holton in the Tigers bullpen. I don't know how much longer they're going to give on the leash for Jason Foley. They pretty much tried to give it away to Alex Lang, and he flushed it down the toilet again. This is Jay Cake, and I want to thank you again for sharing part of your day with me.